Suriname is about to celebrate something historic. In November 2026, the country marks 50 years, 50 years of independence from the Netherlands. Half a century. And moments like this always raise the important question. Not just how far the country has come, but also how far it still has to go. Because independence anniversaries aren't just celebrations. They're checkpoints. And one of the biggest checkpoints today in Suriname is women's rights. Over the past several decades, Suriname has made real progress. Women have entered universities in greater numbers. They've moved into professional careers, and women have taken roles inside government and political leadership. But progress alone doesn't answer the bigger questions. Has equity actually been achieved? I'm going to go with no. Because in many countries around the world, legal progress and everyday realities can look very different. So the real story isn't just about what laws say, it's about what daily life looks like for women across the country. Suriname is a diverse society.
Few countries in the Americas are as culturally diverse as Suriname.
It's a nation shaped by indigenous communities, African heritage, South Asian and Javanese populations, and Dutch colonial history. The diversity gives the country a unique cultural identity, but it also means that social change moves at different speeds across different communities. Education access has improved. More women are participating in the workforce, and women's organizations have grown stronger over the years. But challenges remain: economic inequality, underrepresentation in top political leadership, and ongoing concerns around domestic violence protections. And here's where the real debate begins, because progress doesn't mean the work is finished. In fact, progress often reveals the next set of problems that need to be solved. For example, women in many parts of Suriname still face barriers to economic independence. Some sectors of the economy remain overwhelmingly male-dominated. And in rural regions, access to support systems and legal protections can be inconsistent, which raises an important question. Are reforms keeping pace with social reality, or are they falling behind?
A new force is about to reshape Suriname's economy: offshore oil.
Factor now entering the conversation is Suriname's emerging oil economy. Major offshore discoveries could transform the country's economy over the next decade. Oil wealth can create jobs. It can build infrastructure. It can fund social programs. But history shows that economic growth alone does not guarantee social equity. In some cases, rapid economic expansion can even widen existing inequalities if protections are not in place, which means Suriname now faces a critical choice. As the country prepares for economic transformation, it must also decide what kind of society it wants to build. Will new wealth translate into greater opportunity for everyone? Or will existing inequalities simply become embedded into the next economic era? Because women's rights are not just a social issue. They are a development issue. Countries that empower women tend to see stronger economic growth, better education outcomes, and healthier communities. And this is where the conversation expands beyond Suriname. Around the world, the fight for women's rights has never been a straight line. Some countries have seen major breakthroughs. Others have experienced setbacks. But the broader lesson is clear. Human rights progress requires constant attention and requires political will. And it requires a public that continues asking difficult questions. The upcoming 50th anniversary gives Suriname a unique opportunity. Anniversaries create moments where countries look backwards and forwards at the same time. Backwards to measure progress, forward to decide what the next 50 years should look like. And that conversation doesn't only belong to the politicians. It belongs to the citizens, activists, teachers, families, and especially the women's whose voices are shaping the country's future. Because women's rights are not a separate issue from human rights, they are human rights. And when societies strengthen rights for women, they usually strengthen rights for everybody. Better legal protections, more economic more economic participation, more representation in leadership. Those changes ripple outward. So the real question faces Suriname today isn't simply how far the country has come. The real question is something deeper. What kind of country does Suriname want to be for the next 50 years? Because independence was only the beginning. The next chapter will be written by the choices made today. And those choices will determine whether progress continues or whether the next generation will still be asking the same questions. And thank you for watching. And this has been Scott for 2028.